What's been happening? BBC first interviewed the expert who fixed.
I mean, it was.
And what was his response?
Yes, 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 and that was a good thing.
Here's a question for you. Does anyone else find this reporter really scary?
If you keep watching me for the next minute or so, you'll find out the results.
I don't want to know the results. Hey, don't you just love it when the news captures a baby having a tantrum?
But is this a blip or a break?
And finally, over on Newsnight, Jeremy Paxman said vagina.
Vagina.
Now, the big crime news was definitely this.
Women who went missing in the American state of Ohio around a decade ago have turned up safe. They were all found in a house in Cleveland after a neighbour heard screams.
Did you see the interview on the news with a neighbour? He is amazing. Listen to his description of the moment he found the girls.
Bro, I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Thank you very much for your time.
Either she homeless or she got problems. That's all.
Charles, thank you for being here, man.
From dead giveaways to the end of an era.
Sir Alex Ferguson has announced his retirement.
Sir Alex Ferguson is to retire.
His retirement has sent shockwaves through the world of football.
For almost 3 decades, 1,500 games. Trophy after trophy. The most successful manager in English football.
I'm full. He's going.
Not a fan. So, Fergie's success. Well, fair to say, he had a bit of a temper.
David Beckham was once hit by a flying boot, which his manager had furiously kicked across the dressing room.
It was a graze.
That's nothing. He shouted at Ryan Giggs for so long he gave him a...
Yes.
And look what he did to the youth team. Mind you, he wasn't always harsh to his players. He was clearly a huge fan of Dion Dublin. When asked if the rumours of Dion Dublin having an unfeasibly big penis were true, Ferguson replied, "Not just big, it's magnificent." Christ, it was like a fucking Toblerone. I'm not, it was so big I once brought it on as a substitute by mistake. Had a good game, although ironically, back penetration in the box. But Christ, could it dribble? Oh. Now, aside from Fergie's obsession with Dion's wang, he was famous for the phrase that is so much his breath felt like a hairdryer. My mum, God bless her, a treatment meant
What's the cinema? Can't believe it. Put your teeth up.
Jesus, Dion, put it away. Once Fergie had left, there was only one question: who would succeed him?
Rumour is already rife over who will replace him.
David Moyes.
Jose Mourinho.
Moyes.
Mourinho.
Moyes. Mourinho.
Moyes. Mourinho. Gandalf.
Oddly, they didn't go with Gandalf, they went with Gollum. From football to huge film news.
Now, in a significant boost to the British film industry, the latest instalment of the Star Wars franchise will be...
They're making Star Wars in the UK. Please set it in Bristol. Please.
Vader, get I some Luke, I am your father. You and Jeremy Kyle.
Or an Essex. How great would that be?
What's wrong, Yoda?
Christ, I hope they don't go around dressed in character. If C-3PO walks the street, some fucker will send him to cash for gold. What happened to R2-D2? We traded him in at cash converters. And now we got us a juicer. It's a really good way of getting your 5 a day. That's the silliest joke I've ever done. Now, I may be excited, but fair to say, die-hard American fans, a little bit annoyed.
These sons of bitches, they're gonna Sim City the entire fucking franchise. I can't believe they're doing this shit to me.
Jabba goes shitting. Mind you, that's not my favourite tantrum of the week. Oh, yes. From Star Wars to period dramas, did you hear about this? Downton Abbey will feature a black character for the first time. It got hold of a sneak preview.
Ladies, there's a new man arriving in Downton Abbey. Ooh. Says here his name is Dion Dublin.
A project that's managed to produce a plastic weapon using a 3D printer. And successfully test-fired, and its creators say they plan to make the blueprints available online.
There's now, exactly, there's technology in America where you can print a gun. It's going to change the shooting range, isn't it? AK-47, you? Hewlett-Packard. People are worried it's going to lead to a spate of killings. I don't know, most of us are shit with technology. Right, I'm going to kill you. Control P. Control P. Mom! Mom, what's the syntax error? I have loaded the toner, Mom. You are a dead man just as soon as I call the helpline. Or even worse, what if you're dyslexic? I'm going to shoot you with my... Oh, bollocks, I've printed a nun. Let's be honest, though, we're not going to print guns, are we? Most of us still struggle with basic things like Skype. It's true. Have a look at this lady sending a Christmas message to her family.
Are you ready to jingle your bells? Let's do this.
And you're like, oh God, something bad's gonna happen. Oh no, she just played the filthiest song ever to her parents. I love it, and it's even better the second time. Elsewhere this week, did you see this brilliant story? Have a look at why a shop up north has had to stop selling peanuts.
The supermarket chain in the north of England, they contain nuts.
That's right. They've withdrawn nuts because they didn't have a sign on them that said, may contain nuts. How thick do they think people are? Oh, peanuts. I wonder what's in there. Maybe it's a bicycle. Or maybe it's a hover pig. I'd love a hover pig. Hovering above me like a pig. Also, aren't they missing the obvious? People with nut allergies probably not going to eat fucking nuts. My brother's got epilepsy. He very rarely goes, oi, Russ, pass me that strobe light. It's not peanuts you need to warn people about, it's Christmas songs. Still, a story about nut allergies has got nothing on this. Have you heard about Victoria Beckham's beauty regime?
Women things in the search for eternal beauty. Victoria Beckham is said to be a fan of which uses nightingale excrement as an exfoliant.
She lets birds poo on her. Christ, no wonder she doesn't smile. How weird is that? Beckham's out playing footy. She's in the garden covered in bread. Just shit on me, my pretty. Mind you, this treatment isn't for everyone, especially if you struggle around birds.
At the show,
That obsession was my favourite celebrity story. God bless the Sun newspaper. The Guardian, the Telegraph, they were asking things like, should we leave the EU? Should we intervene in Syria? The Sun, they were asking the question on 1939 photo proof that Jay-Z can travel through time. We were all thinking it, you be the judge. Now, I'm going to say no. That is not Jay-Z. That is clearly a man in the past that happens to look a bit like Jay-Z. So you're probably thinking they left it at that. Oh, no. The next day, they printed a load of other celebrities they reckon can travel through time. Justin Timberlake. Rupert Grint. Keith Richards. And my personal favourite, Borat. They look at that. Borat is fucking scarlet. I saw some mad relationship stories in the news over in Japan. Have you heard about Love Your Wife Day?
Men in Japan have been expressing their love very publicly. The shouting is all part of Love Your Wife Day, an annual event which sees 12 men taking to a stage in a public car park and declaring their love for their other half.
It's not love. They look like they're trying to shit out a hedgehog. Also, showing your love in a public car park, I'm pretty sure that's dogging, isn't it? Oh, it's quite a big thing in Japan. People in the streets here, oh, and that lovely, lovely wife, yeah. How's that in English? It's very, very different. I love my wife! From loving your wife to accidentally shooting her in the face. Did you stay with me? Did you hear this?
Angela Rose's partner was cleaning his spear when it fired, apparently accidentally. The harpoon pierced through her mouth and the top of her spine. Doctors say it came within 1 centimetre of killing her.
Holy shit! He accidentally shot his wife in the mouth with the harpoon. She will never have to lift a finger again. Oh, you don't want to clean the dishes? Shoot the harpoon! I want to know who the fuck cleans their harpoon like this.
Okay.
Left her in
No.
Open him out.
Yeah.
Open him out. Oh, what have I done? I'll shot you in the face. Still, she got her own back. A spear in the mouth is nothing. Look what she did to his dick. Incredibly, that isn't the most shocking relationship story from Brazil. Prepare yourself. This is insane. Have a look at how a woman tried to kill her husband.
The Brazilian man says his wife tried to kill her by putting poison in her vagina.
She tried to poison her what?
Vagina.
Cheers, Jeremy. Did you see she tried to kill him? She invited him to have oral sex with her. Invited. Yes, sir. We repress the pleasure of your company in an evening we're calling Death by Minge. In all she was like this, meh?
because it's fucking hissing.
I love this bit. Oh, look at this, right? He realised something was wrong when he noticed a strange odour coming from his wife's vulva. That and the fact it was green.
Jesus, I'm not being funny, love. It looks like Yoda's ear.
As you can imagine, people on the internet went crazy. Check out this guy.
You realise that this man, he never gonna eat pussy again in his life. It's over for him with the pussy. He's not gonna eat it. He may turn gay.
Such an overreaction. That one's green. I turn my back on your entire people. Now, this is the part of the show I genuinely don't know anything about. There's going to be a mystery guest who's been in the news. I have to figure out who that is. So please welcome my mystery guest. Nice to meet you. Well, this is, what was your name? Anthony, excellent. Well, this is very complicated. There's ballet, there's jive records, and you're dressed as a soldier. That's correct. And a wolf whistle. Great. Thank you. Oh, lovely. Nice to have you in, fellas. So, has it got anything to do with ballet? Don't ballet. Me as a ballerina.
Not ballet, no.
So, why have we got ballet shoes? Is that someone you beat up and you nick their goods? So, has it got something to do with dance?
It has got something to do with dance, yes.
Are you a wonderful dancer?
I am a dancer, yes.
Lovely stuff. What kind of stuff?
Modern jive.
You're a modern jiver. But what's the connection with the army? Because is that a new way of bedazzling the enemy? Yeah, that would work, wouldn't it? It would really work. No, imagine that. So let's imagine we're going to the camera. Not to there, that's the enemy there is the camera. You do a little dance.
All right.
Dance at the enemy.
Okay, so do a little shimmy.
Yeah. Go. Bang. So why have you been in the news exactly?
Okay, obviously, as you can tell, I am in the army. Basically, I've taken some time out of normal service to go compete at the European Modern Jive Champs, where I managed to secure 2 silver medals.
Get it! So, can anyone learn to jive dance? Could I become a jive dancer?
I'm going to teach you 3 to 4 moves of modern jive. We're going to put them into a little routine, and you're going to dance to a song in front of this lovely crowd.
I'm not going to lie, I've seen myself in the mirror and I look like an Amish Ollie Nurse. So what are we going to do?
So teach you some modern jive, and then we're going to teach you something called a drop. Okay? First thing we need to loosen you off before we go. So, with dancing, it's all about the hips and showing off your body. Yep. First of all, stick your chest out a bit, head up high. Well into your day. Just wiggle your hips. So you got to wiggle like this. If you push your heel down, if you put your foot slightly forward, that'll push your ass out. Alright? From here, we're going to practice moving. So as we're going round.
Oh, yeah!
Good one. So wiggle.
That was amazing. Your ass was supersonic.
Thanks.
It was, yeah. It's like, honestly, I felt like the sun and my favourite planet was just going around. Can we assume I've done the anus gag? Let's assume.
Right, next you're going to focus on your arms, okay? I want to see arms up. If you pretend you're holding an egg, all right, it's instant styling.
Really?
Yeah, hold an egg and put it up. Move your fingers out. That's it. So just put it arm out, okay, it's instant styling.
Very different if you're holding a chicken, isn't it?
Last but not least, obviously facial expressions. I want you to give a bit of, I'm better than you, a bit of arrogance.
Yeah.
Right? So.
See the size of his egg?
Okay.
before.
Yes.
I've brought me a couple of my dance partners with me this evening to help you out. So I'd like you to give a big round of applause from Saroc, South Wales. We've got Lindsay Shivers and Amy Bonny. Awesome. The first move, okay?
Right, lovely.
So you're going to push the lady to step back. Nicely. Nicely, Ross.
Sorry.
So you're gently going to push the lady away from you, stepping out.
Okay, so like that.
I want you to bring your elbow to the lady's elbow and face the audience, remembering that egg for poise.
There.
Get your egg out. That is the first move. But this is the end move, okay? It's called the snake. It looks like this.
Don't tell me go.
The way we get into that, okay, so we're left to right.
Yep.
All you're going to do is left leg, you're going to take her down and rest her on your knee.
I see, gotcha.
Now from here, all you've got to do is let go and let the ladies do their thing.
Okay,
I'm going. Okay, she's going. Here she goes. Okay, so, are you ready, Russell?
Born ready.
Okay, so let's cue music. Okay, so start to get into the rhythm. Back. And in. Watch the cross. And in. Away. And in. Away. Back across. Spin. Yeah, the lady. True spin. Speed. Oh, true. Arrogance. Get back to the starting position. All right. Arrogance. Come on. Arrogant. And in. Away. Return the lady. Get ready for the snake. Snake head down.
I know this bit. There you go. Awesome. Come on, Abigail, that was amazing. I'm so sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, please get up for my amazing mystery. What else has been going on? Well, over in Argentina, one bloke had a bit of a mix-up.
Pet buyer in Argentina thought he was getting a pair of pricey poodles. Thought he was getting a bargain. What he actually got were ferrets pumped up on steroids and then groomed to look like pricey pooches.
That's right. He went to buy some poodles and got ferrets pumped up on steroids. What an idiot. Have a look at it again. How? How did he think that was a poodle? It looks like an old dinner lady's bush. Staying in South America, have you seen the latest craze hitting the streets of Mexico?
This is the furries sweeping northern Mexico. Converts design their own animal costumes off the characters and then go out and about.
What a bunch of dicks! Look at me! I'm an otter! Just be comfy in your own skin. You don't see gibbons. Oh, I'd love to dress like an estate agent. I just don't get it. I mean, look at this bloke.
Adrian Diaz, who dresses as a fox, 6 furries in the Mexican city of Monterrey. He explains that although the movement is growing, some people just still look at him strangely.
Because you're dressed as a fox. What I don't get, why would you want to be a fox? If you want to be a creature that eats from a bin and shouts in hedges, just go on Jeremy Kyle. Now, to be honest, I hate this story so much, but that's because for a while, yeah, I was a furry, but, oh, funny, real funny, yeah. Oh, Big Daddy laugh. But I had an incident that made me stop forever. No! I'm a human!
They got myself a talker!
I'm a human! got the next day?
Liquid ass.
Now, the tragic events in Boston last month wrecked lives, but this is the story of one woman's inspirational approach to recovery.
I have been dancing my entire life. It's hard to describe how much I love dancing. It's a feeling I get that is unlike any other. I feel like I'm flying when I dance. On April 15th, I was at the Boston Marathon, walking around with my husband. He had just come home from Afghanistan, and we were just out enjoying the sunshine. It was a beautiful Boston day. 4 feet away from where we were standing. We landed on the ground, and I thought, I think I'm going to be okay. I'm not in any pain. And then I tried to move my leg, and I couldn't. I remember the smell, and I remember the smoke, and thinking that I was going to die. It was awful. I wanted my family so badly, and that's what I just kept thinking of.
We were there the minute she woke up. Adrienne came out of surgery, and I had to tell her that her foot was no longer there, knowing that would be very painful for her because of dance.
I am incredibly nervous to do the prosthetic, and I know I'm going to start out and have some very humbling moments getting used to it, but I absolutely will dance again. I feel like you have two choices. You could either be the one sitting and eating potato chips and not talking to people and being sorry for yourself, or you can say, you know what, this is who I am now. And I wouldn't let one of my students come to me and say, this happened to me. I wouldn't let them say that their life was over. I'm hopeful for the future and hopeful today.
Lovely, yeah. Now it's time for my stand-up guest. He's from Canada. He's very funny, so please get up for Bobby May!
Hello, everybody. Hello, thank you. Thank you. I am Canadian. I've lived here for a year. My first day here, this lady's like, oh my God, Canadian, you guys are so nice. And then I just had this guttural urge to disprove her. I'm like, when I lived in Canada, this guy lived down the street from me, and he stabbed the woman 52 times after he took her out for dinner. And she's like, well, in the UK, he wouldn't even take her out for dinner. That is nice. And now I live near the Brixton McDonald's. And Brixton is one of the weirder neighborhoods in London. But I love the Brixton McDonald's, because if you're feeling shitty about yourself, and you're just like, what am I doing with my life? You just go to the Brixton McDonald's at 4 in the morning, and then you're like, I'm doing fine. I got an 80-pound fine for putting a cigarette out on the ground in front of the Brixton McDonald's. 80 pounds. That's the problem with the neighborhood, is 20 cigarette butts on the ground, not the fact that the team from The Wire is dealing drugs all around me. And then the lady's like, well, why didn't you just put it in the bin? There's a man shitting in the bin! You don't have to fine me. My punishment is having to live near here. My first day I was walking in there, I saw this lady, and she's screaming at this homeless guy in a wheelchair, and he has one leg. I feel bad for the guy, some empathy. But then as I'm walking out, turns out he is the villain. He punched this woman in the stomach, and she fell on the ground crying. And I'm just sitting there stunned. I was like, would I be a hero right now if I just punched this guy in a wheelchair? Or at least tipped him over? Really, because he's down a leg and I'm holding a McFlurry, so I'm down an arm. A pretty equal back and forth. There's only 2 rules to the fight. Number 1, no dropping my McFlurry. And number 2, no growing back your leg. But that is not likely because you are not a lizard. I've never been mugged or anything, really. Because, I don't look like the kind of guy that can kick your ass, because I'm not. But I do look like the kind of guy where if you kick my ass, right to you in 3 years. If you're in a good mood, I'll just mail you a picture of your kids getting off a school bus. But that picture will be taken from inside your house. To today I was walking through this group of kids, and they kept, like, shoulder checking me and hitting me really hard. So I said, hey, kids, stop touching me. You're violating my parole. They laughed. I'm a bit under the weather. I have a bit of a cold right now. And the worst part for me about having a cold is when you smell women's hair on the bus, they can hear you. You smell like strawberries. You're sick. I am sick, she. I try not to be creepy. I'm just not very good at it. Like, I was sitting on a bus and I was staring at this girl and, like, fantasizing. And then I noticed this other dude staring at the same woman and, like, fantasizing, which is weird because now I feel like I'm in a psychic gangbang. This homeless dude are spit roasting a chick on a bus in our minds. And then the guy looks at me and he goes, yeah. And I didn't know what to do, so I was just like, yeah. What did I just agree to? What does that even mean? And I grew this beard because I wanted to have the beard of a man. Just something resembling manhood. It didn't work, though. I just have the beard of a woman in the circus. On my way here, someone actually asked me, is your beard real? As if it wasn't, this is the beard every day when I wake up. I'll take Patchy Hope. But what I said was like, no, it's not actually every day. Just shave my pubes and glue them to my face. Thanks for asking. I have this friend who's a vegetarian, but she has a cat, which I never understood. I'm like, so you won't murder an animal, you will kidnap a cat for joy. Because if you have a cat, know that, because if you ever leave a door open, the poor cat's like, this is my chance! And then it sprints for the get up, you're like, what are you doing, kitty? You love me. No, it doesn't love you. It has Stockholm Syndrome. Like, why would a cat love you when you took its balls, its claws, and you never let it... It does... Guys, do not skip this ad. It didn't even want to... I really want Justin Bieber to sing at my funeral. Just for my friends at the funeral, my death is the second worst thing happening there. Like, people genuinely want you to feel sorry for this kid because he was raised by a single mom. That's a real thing. And it's like, hey, you know what's way more depressing than getting a divorce? Two miserable people staying together and raising the comedian you see for you. Like, you know why I moved here? I moved here so the physical distance between me and my family matched the emotional one. I love X-Men. My favorite X-Men is Professor Xavier, because that guy is in a wheelchair, but he can move things with his mind. But that's what I never understood. Like, if you can move a huge building with your mind, shouldn't you be able to move your legs with your mind? Like, I think he was just faking it for a better disability check. Then there's this mutant Darwin, and Darwin's mutant ability is to adapt. Like, when Darwin puts his head underwater, he adapts, which is amazing, but this guy's black in 1962 America. And it's like, hey, if you grew gills on your face, you should not be black in 1962. Adapt. That's your mutant ability, Darwin. At one point in the movie, I had more skin, and I was like, dude, you wouldn't need that if you're just white. Like, I have an idea, I have a theory, hear me out. I think that every person who lives in the Middle East should get to vote in the U.S. elections. Think about it. Every person who lives in the Middle East should get to vote in the U.S. elections. Because it really... anyone else in the world, it affects them. Like if you're a guy in Nebraska, who gets elected is just a figurehead that you blame your life on. That's it, no connection. But if you're Ahmed in Afghanistan, it matters. Who gets elected determines the size of your next family reunion. And how many Paralympians you're gonna have. I was reading this article about the unluckiest people ever, and there was this couple, and on 9/11, they were on holiday in New York. And then, when the London bombings happened, they were on holiday there. And then, a year later, when the shootings in Mumbai, India happened, they were on holiday there. And this article said that they were the unluckiest people ever, and I was like, well, no, they're not. Clearly, they're just the organizers of 3 terrorist attacks. Like, this is Al and Shirley Qaeda. If you 3 were murdered, you know, and I was at every